Today, I'm making an indoor barbecue just for my little family. And when I started making this, my husband Ian said, these flavors are downright craveable. And I know what he means because the barbecue chicken has spices and a homemade bourbon flavored barbecue sauce. All right, to get started with the barbecue chicken, this is my own recipe. And I developed this with skin off chicken. And so we're gonna put a spice rub on the outside. It almost acts like a coating. Spice rub is very simple. It's 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and I'm gonna pack the brown sugar into the measuring spoon. That brown sugar, it melts and it makes a really nice coating on the outside of the chicken. Plus it adds a little sweetness, which is nice. All right, we're gonna add a teaspoon of kosher salt. If you're using regular salt, use half the amount, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now you can easily make this spicy if you're into some spice, but because I'm making it for the family, I just dial it back. You wanna mix this up in a bowl. Use your fingers to break up the brown sugar. You notice I used a nice big bowl. That's because we're gonna use this bowl for coating the chicken. All right, that looks pretty good. The brown sugar is nicely broken up. Set this aside for the minute while we prep the chicken. Now here I have a whole chicken cut up. And I love cutting up chickens, but now you can buy a whole chicken already cut up. In the store down the street, there are even organic chickens, which I love. So this is how I bought it. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut these breast pieces in half because it just helps everything cook more or less at the same rate. It also makes sure that everybody gets some white meat. All right, so you notice I said cut it in half, but I'm really chinsing it more towards the thick side than the thin side. That just helps those pieces cook more evenly, right through the bones. Let me set this chickeny board aside. Now I got chickeny hands, so I'm being mindful. I'm gonna take this skin off. And this is why I developed this recipe, because the skin, it always gets really flabby underneath that barbecue sauce, and I hate that. So using paper towels, it helps give you some grip. You just wanna pull the chicken skin off. All right, for the drumsticks, hold it down by the end and work the skin down up over the bone side. So pull it right off. Paper towels are pretty helpful to give you some purchase on the slippery skin. Now to coat the chicken with spices, working one piece at a time, just gonna drop it in the bowl, roll it around. Nice light coating. I'm gonna lay it on this wire rack I have over here. So it's a wire rack on a rimmed baking sheet lined with foil for easy cleanup, and the rack has been sprayed with vegetable oil. That just helps prevent the sticky chicken from sticking to the rack and makes cleanup easier. Last piece here. All right, so we're gonna let this chicken sit here about 30 minutes with the salt and those spices. Let the salt pull out the moisture, help dissolve some of that sugar. Now, if you're in a hurry, you can start heating the oven right away while the chicken sits here. But if you wanna do it ahead, you can cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for up to 12 hours. All right, so time to make the barbecue sauce. And now, of course, you could use store-bought sauce, but making your own is really easy. Plus, then I get to put a little bourbon in the sauce, which is Ian's favorite. So, what we're gonna start with is just a few spices. We're gonna start with a teaspoon, again, of chili powder. I like mixing the spices ahead of time because they all go into the pan at the same time. Teaspoon garlic powder and just a 1/4 teaspoon cayenne. All right, set these spices aside. Now for the liquids. The most important one in this barbecue sauce is bourbon. It's Ian's favorite. He actually has a whole nice collection of bourbons, so if he's not here and I don't get the chance to ask him which one to use, I just pick one with a pretty bottle, and I hope it's not one of his favorites, or if it is, I hope he likes to taste it in barbecue sauce. All right, so that's a 1/4 cup of bourbon. It goes into the pot on its own. And now for everything else. Ketchup is the base of most barbecue sauces. This is 1½ cups of ketchup. To that, we're gonna add some molasses. This is a 1/4 cup of mild molasses. To this, we're gonna add some apple cider vinegar. You want 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. 2 tablespoons of Dijon. Last but not least, a little bit of hot sauce. I'm gonna add just a teaspoon. The hot sauce we use isn't too spicy, but this is where you could really kick it up if you like a spicy barbecue sauce. Just adding a teaspoon to this batch. That's it for the liquid ingredients. Now the last thing is an onion, which we're gonna grate on a box grater. Just an easy way to prep an onion. It really breaks down the onion fibers and it melds into a quick sauce, so it's very handy. Plus, you don't get big hard chunks in the sauce. So cut the onion in half, peel off the outside layers, and then just using the large holes, grate away. All right. any caught from behind there. Now, all this just goes into the pot in a specific order. The whole thing takes about 10 minutes to cook. To cook the sauce, we'll start by sauteing the grated onion for about 5 minutes in a little veg oil. When it's nice and softened, we'll add the spices and let them bloom in the hot pan for about 30 seconds. And when the spices are good and fragrant, take the pot off the heat and add the bourbon. Let that bourbon cook off for a second or two before putting it back on the stove. And then when most of that is evaporated, add the ketchup and the rest of the liquid and simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, here's the finished cooled sauce, ready to be put into a jar. Now this makes about 1.5 cups, and you can store it in the fridge for up to a week. Time to get this chicken into the oven, and the one trick I've learned is that the tapered breast pieces, because we cut those breast pieces in half, they cook the quickest out of all. So I'm gonna set those aside just for the first 10 minutes, let these other pieces of chicken get a jump start, and then we'll add them back to the pan. So, wanna spray them with veg oil spray, also these guys. That just helps the spices bloom in the hot oven with a little bit of fat. I'm gonna roast this in a ripping hot oven, 450 degrees, middle rack for 10 minutes. Hey there, I hope you're enjoying this video. Did you know that you can stream every season of your favorite shows from America's Test Kitchen anywhere, anytime, and ad-free? With an all-access digital membership, you can unlock thousands of recipes that have been rigorously tested by our experts. Not to mention unbiased equipment and ingredient reviews, available at home or on the go with our mobile app. Visit cookscountry.com to start your free trial. All right, the chicken has been roasting for 10 minutes. Now time to add those thinner breast pieces, and we'll roast for another 10. Time to add the sauce. You want to brush it evenly over all the chicken. Make sure every inch is covered that's exposed, and it goes back in the oven for another 10 minutes. All right, this chicken has been cooking for 30 minutes, and I started basting it with this sauce about 10 minutes ago. It smells so good. So we're gonna baste it with sauce one last time, and then we're gonna let it finish cooking in the oven, still 450 degrees. Finishes up, it takes about 10-20 more minutes. And you know the chicken's done when it has this gorgeous burnished look on it, and the thick parts of the breasts register 160 degrees. All right, the chicken looks done, but again, there's only one way to tell, and that's to temp the breast. Again, we're looking for a temperature of 160 degrees. Perfect, right on the nose. I'm gonna take these off the wire rack and put them on a platter, and you really wanna let this chicken rest at least 10 minutes before serving. I always go for a drumstick and a breast piece. If you want a little extra barbecue sauce on the side, you can heat it up or serve it. I brought this barbecue sauce a bit ago when I was cooking the chicken, so it's at room temperature. Now for a piece of chicken. Oh, nice and juicy. A little extra barbecue sauce. Mmm. So good, so much flavor with the spice rub and that homemade bourbon sauce. And because there's no skin, there's no flabby bits, you can dig right in and eat all that burnished sauce right off the chicken. So delicious. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? Leave a comment below and let me know what you're excited to cook this week. You can get today's recipes and more for free at our website.